Hey guys, I'm Peter, and today I wanted to chat a little bit about naming companies. So I'm doing a couple of side projects. I love to do AI projects, and part of that is a group of things that actually help automate for solo founders and lean businesses, doing all kinds of things around launching and growing your business. One of the first things that you face when you want to start a company is how to name your product correctly. So we're going to chat about that today. So, first of all, as we know, it's not that easy to come up with a name. Besides the fact that it's a creative process that is very, very difficult, there's a bunch of risks involved in finding the perfect one. So, we'll talk about those risks and then I'll show you guys how to try to mitigate some of those risks. So, the first one is something called SEO risk. Okay, so the simple way to think about this is, let's say you come up with your awesome co, right? And that's the name that you want to go with. You type it into Google, and there's a bunch of things already that are named similarly, so that's not going to work. Second one is a little bit more obvious. Trademarks, you want to avoid things that already have been trademarked because that can create a lot of risk. The third one is finding something that actually has matching socials. Socials are sometimes even harder to find than domains that work. And all of that is sort of compiled or compounded by the fact that everything you have to really check manually today. That's why, frankly, this process is quite tiresome and it can take days and days and days to find something reasonable. But besides the risks, we should also talk about what makes a company name good. So, how do we actually generate value out of finding the right name? Because picking the right name can add a lot of value to your business. So, the first strategy that works quite well is picking an SEO based name. And we'll get into that in a second. But basically, names that people search for already, even though they didn't think that's a name for your company, and then it matches what they're saying. And then the second one is finding really nice brand based names, and these will have some properties as well that if you pick them right, it's going to be much easier for you to do brand marketing. So let's jump into it. SEO based names. Okay? As always, I think it's easier to explain things on examples, so that's what I will do. The first one is a recent example of a company called AISDR.com. For those that don't know what an AISDR is, there's a big chunk of the sales process for B2B sales. And at the very beginning of that is basically prospecting and doing initial outreach. That's what the SDR usually does. Now, an AI SDR is effectively an AI agent that replaces this SDR or helps the existing SDRs do more work with less resources. So, the AI sales ecosystem has been really, really rapidly expanding. There's lots of successful agents for sales, and SDR is one of the places that they help smoothen and cheapen the process of finding prospects and reaching out to them. And what happened was there's a bunch of these companies that launch, right, to basically sell AI agents for SDRs. And how do they describe what they do? Well, they literally say, we are like an AI SDR. What then that does is these companies that are frequently VC funded, they go out, create a bunch of content and videos about what an AI SDR does, how it works, and what it means for the business. And then that in turn creates a lot of companies searching for AI SDR solutions because suddenly these keywords are something that people go and search for either on Google or through ChatGPT or whatever you may be using for searching. Now, the way that search works is basically if you name the thing very closely related to your service, very closely related to what people are searching for, Google and all the search engines, even if it's ChatGPT, there's a search engine behind it, will think that that is a higher quality match. As a result, you're going to show up higher on the list. So, what AISDR.com did instead of coming up with a clever name like Banana My Banana, They just said, no, we're going to call it exactly what we are, which is AISDR.com. And as a result, while all the other companies are trying to promote the category of AISDR, they make money on capturing that traffic much better than their competitors. An example from the past that is very similar, that works on a similar concept, is basically Hotels Tonight. So if you have ever worked in the travel industry or the travel space, you will know that a lot of the bookings are made last minute. And the way that people search for that is, I need a hotel for tonight in Rome, or I need a hotel for tonight in London. And so Hotel Tonight was very clever because they built a product and specifically picked a name that is good for that. Okay, now let's move on to how to pick a good brand name if you're choosing this strategy and not the SEO based. So there's a couple of factors that you think of when picking a good brand name. The first one is basically that we live in a highly globalized world today. People speak various different languages at various different levels, and assuming you're going to want to pick something that lots of people can use from all around the world, it will matter to you that they know how to type your company's name. Okay? We're talking about basically interpreting a phonetic name, because the way that this spreads is word of mouth or through YouTube, TikTok videos where an influencer says, "Oh, Lovable is really, really cool." And then people will go and they will actually type in Lovable into Google. Now, if they mistype it, yeah, you're going to be in trouble because something else will show up. So that's why it's really important to pick things that are simple to type, are highly recognizable, and there's two examples of this. So for all the vibe coders, you probably are familiar with Lovable, and just think about the word lovable, right? It's basically impossible to type it in any sort of way. And of course, Apple is just a highly recognizable world. It's interesting that there are effectively none of these simple words like Apple left anymore. Everybody has parked their domains, so you're not going to find something like this. And that's why Lovable was very clever, because they effectively invented a new word. But the word is memorable and it's certainly easy to type. By the way, it doesn't have to be super simple depending on the market that you're going after. For example, Perplexity goes after a more technical audience, and they wanted to indicate that with their name. But if you think of the word perplexity, actually it's difficult to mistype it. And even if you would, because the word perplexity is real, Google would autocorrect it for you. And so you'd be back to square one, where if there is no company with the name Perplexity, suddenly there is an opportunity. So that's kind of on the positive side, how to pick brand names. Now, actually, as I said in the beginning, I like to make these AI projects, and marketingagents.dev is a repository of some of these tools that you can use to help you do that. So if you go there, there will be a domain search agent that you can click on. And what it will do is it will go through all of the manual effort for you, but it will also help you create some of these simple sounding or more SEO focused names. So I will show you in a second how it works. Project that I was saying, marketingagents.dev, that is a side gig for me. Hope you guys find it useful. And we're going to go into the domain search agent. So if you just navigate to marketingagents.dev, by the way, the name is picked using our tool as well. Our tool managed to identify that there was a breakout query for marketing agents in particular. And so we picked this name to capture, just like AISDR.com does, the traffic. So once you get there, you're going to want to click this domain search, and immediately you jump into seeing something. So let's try some of these examples here. A sustainable fashion brand focused on eco-friendly materials. And the AI will go and it will start thinking, and it will start extracting all kinds of data. So I'll walk you guys through exactly what's happening. The first thing, it's actually pulling keywords, sustainable fashion, eco-friendly clothing, It makes up these words and it gets a bunch of traffic detail and how competitive they are and so forth. It will then use all of this information to come up with various names, as you can see. It will then go and check each specific name, and then it will do the work for you. So I mentioned that you need to check on search if there's already a company named like that. So it will go and check if that exists already. It found one that it liked, that was available domain, that also there was nothing on search, Valik. Yeah, I mean, arguably, I don't know if this is a good name or not. And then it goes and checks trademark stuff. But what's nice is you can actually, it compiles you this summary, right? It tells you what it did and why it picked Valik. So let's read the exact summary. So keyword landscape shows solid search interest to a sustainable fashion. Okay, Patagonia, Everlane, Reformation are the top competitors. 70 candidates were generated, checked them, and it liked the following one. Okay, checked social and USPTO trademarks. Okay, but now you can go and say, no, but I want something with the word green in it. And it will start basically generating more brand names and going through the process again. Yeah, so that's kind of the tool. You can also use it if we just start a new chat. Check the following ones. So many times you will actually generate your own names and you just want to go and use the part of it that checks if those names are good. So check the following ones. Mesquite.com and punishmesquite.com. And it will go through the process, so it will see if there's any available, and then it will just do the part where it checks these and for SEO and trademark search. So that's the tool. Hopefully it brings you value. You can always reach out to us and give us feedback. We highly appreciate that. Thanks and good luck finding a name for your company.